Good morning, everyone. This is Elise Randolph, joined by Rain Chocolate, and we're starting the day off right with a match between Ministry of Inappropriate Footwork and Polar Bears. Ministry of Inappropriate Footwork will be in red on your screen. They've got double Balgorn, double Astarte, Executor, 4 Bombers, and a Crucifier. Rain, why don't you tell me about the Polar Bears team?
So they have the Balgorn, double Navy APOC, double Navy Harbinger, 2 Deacons, Purifier, and 2 Couriers.
Oh snap, and the GMs and local both confirmed that both of the flagships for both teams are on field. So Polar Bears have their flag Balgorn, and Kick have their flag Balgorn as well. At least one of their Balgorns is a flag Balgorn, because they have 2. Uki will be piloting the Balgorn for Polar Bears, and Mr. Floydy will be Kick's Balgorn flagship. So these guys backs up against the wall, elimination imminent for the team that loses here, pulling out all the stops.
Yep, and if we notice, both teams kind of warped in at range, except this one Balgorn on the Kick side. It warped in a little bit closer to kind of reach the enemy team with those newts and webs.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about the flag Balgorn is you get like 70 kilometers overheated webs. So if you get a little bit closer, you can reach out and grab basically everyone from the enemy side. Generally, what you want to do with the Balgorn is you want to lock down the enemy logistics ship straight off, because you can like hold it in place and really dismantle the team. But Polar Bears have banned the Guardian and Oneros, hoping to force I guess a shield comp, but both teams took an armor comp instead.
Yeah, so Polar Bears actually brought 2 Deacons, so the 2 Frigate Logi, and they actually warped them in slightly further away, so the Balgorn may not be able to reach them. And then Footwork themselves actually brought an Executor, so a T1 Cruiser Logi. And the match is going to start in 5 seconds.
Oh my goodness. So things to look out here for, guys. Polar Bears have 2 Navy APOCs, which not really a good tournament ship, or not really a tournament ship that we see very often, and 2 Navy Harbs. Both ships really, really need their capacitor, and of course, Kick have complete domination with 2 Balgorns. They can nuke out all of these ships.
Yeah, so even though Kick brought their bombers at range, thinking that like max range, which would be 50, the Polar Bears were actually able to eliminate not 1 bomber, but they're actually going in for their 2nd bomber as well.
And Polar Bears draw first blood, killing that Crucifier straight off. That was really impressive. These Navy epochs have incredible tracking. They get a 37.5% bonus to tracking with Scorch. That leaves her a really, really good tracking. But Polar Bears are losing a Navy Harbinger straight through reps. Like, look at all this damage. Look at it just melt straight through everything. And Kick are keeping their Hound alive. They're taking no damage at all.
Yeah, so the first RB Navy down, and now the second one is quickly being worked on Polar Bear's side. However,
these Deacons can't keep up?
Yeah, so even though they do have the 2 Frigate Logi, and they're actually not too bad, they're still not able to hold through reps. Although it looks like the Purifier on the Kick side is now going down, and the Executor is taking some damage. Not sure from what, but it barely grazes shields.
All the Executor has been webbed and nuded by this Uki's flag Balgorn, so that's not too good. This ship can't really sustain that much cap pressure. If they don't need to kill the ship, they just need to nude it out, and it's got nooses, newts, nos, webs, everything. Meanwhile, Polar Bear did trade another Navy Harbinger for it. They really need to kill this Executor really quickly. Stacking up a little bit too much on the disable on the Executor, but whatever. As soon as they kill it, it's an easy ride.
Yeah, usually once the Logi's down, it's pretty easy to pick off the rest of the DPS. Although sometimes people, instead of immediately killing the Logi, they would have just held it and nuded it, just to save DPS to focus on the enemy DPS, and then just save the Logi for last, because it can't do anything without the capacitor.
Yeah, that probably would have been a smart move. Polar Bears did get that Executor down with a lot of disable, but they are trading a Navy APOC for it. They spend way too much time on the Executor. He's holding a little bit, but not enough as the Navy APOC goes down by Commander Diaz. Polar Bears don't have that much DPS on field now. Anything they lock should die instantly. They really, really need to get these bombers down.
Yeah, and I'm actually surprised, because the couriers should actually be able to go in and try and almost catch these bombers, but I'm not quite sure what they're doing if they're supporting other ships.
Yeah, both Hounds are positioned decently well. They're getting shot by this Navy APOC. The Navy APOC can shoot from anywhere on the field, almost anywhere on the field. With Scorch, he can hit up to 80 kilometers and track really well, but he is being completely nuded out by this double Balgorn strat from Ministry of Inappropriate Footwork. So he can't even fire his guns. He's got no cap for anything. he's just gonna sit there and die, which is really, really unfortunate for the Polar Bears team. They brought cap-based weapons, and they faced a double Balgorn comp. These Balgorns, they can suck up so much cap. Stuff dying left and right here. All the APOC's dead. All the Harb's dead for Polar Bears. Kick looking really strong. They lost their Logi. They lost a bomber. That's about it. They're somehow able to keep the rest of their bombers alive in the face of what was 2 Navy APOCs. Really impressive stuff here. Really good piloting, decision making on the Kick team.
So yeah,
they
these
didn't freak out.
I was gonna say bombers are generally pretty difficult to keep alive. So either I don't know if it was I think it was more of piloting than it was more of the Logi and keep them alive, because they really have to know how to mitigate this DPS if they want to actually survive long enough to apply their deeps.
Yep, and as you can see on the screen, the defense, attack, and control bars. The defense bar for Kick started off, and the defense bar for Kick and Polar Bear started off very similar, but the control bar for Kick was way bigger. And you can see the size of the control bar is how much potential it can have. The amount that's filled in green is how much they are applying. So you can see that Kick have been applying 100% of their control over the Polar Bears team for almost the entire duration of the match. That is a sign of a really experienced team and a really good team. They know how to use all of their mods. They know what they need to do. They know they need to apply their control. That's what you need to do with a control team. You don't use your control, then what good is your team? You pass up so much for it.
Yeah, and having control is... Let's say having control is almost as important as having good attack. And if you watch, this Balgorn is actually, it looks like being orbited by these 2 deacons who are constantly applying reps to him, even though they're being nosed, but they're not able to keep him alive at all. He is now in like half structure. They're not actually able to trade for anything with this Balgorn and the remaining Purifier.
Yeah, this is Uki's flagship Balgorn for the Polar Bears team. Obviously, if it dies, it means he can't field it again, but also, if the team is eliminated, they are eliminated from Alliance Tournament 14. So, flagship down, first flagship of the day. Definitely not going to be the last. A lot of teams have selected this Balgorn as the flagship, and the reason for that... Oh, bomber just died. Nice. Oh, that was the Polar Bears bomber. All right.
Yeah. So all that's left are the Polar Bears deacons, and there's not much to do when you're just 2 Logis floating out in space. So it looks like victory goes to Kick.
Oh, the poor Polar Bears Logis. They can't. They don't even have enough capacitor to rep one another. They're just sitting there sad and dying.
Yep,
oh, last deacon going down. Poor Polar Bears. Polar Bears are eliminated. They did have a really cool comp yesterday, and they gave Hydra a pretty good run for their money.
And it looks like they're not shooting this deacon just yet. I wonder if they're looting the field, especially because
you gotta loot you gotta loot the flagship wreck. You can see them all running over towards the flagship wreck right now. But smart move.
I was gonna say, I did notice at the beginning, although Polar Bears brought largely a Mar fleet with some Blood Raider ships, they did not all have the Mar white skin, which I think is kind of detrimental, especially with their name Polar Bears. I figured they would at least all have matching skins, all looks pretty uniform, especially in an all Mar fleet. Yeah,
they really should have just been wearing the Purity of the Throne skins. Like that's definitely a Polar Bears thing, right? Like, come on, guys, get it together. Maybe for next year when you bring Navy APOCs.
Yeah, especially since I don't know. I felt like that they had one chance to seize that, and they just gave up, and that's why they lost.
Alrighty, the final deacon is down for Polar Bears. Eliminated. Kick advances. We will see them a little bit later. I think that's how it works. Yeah. And I'm Elise Randolph for Rain Chocolate. We're gonna send it back to the studio with Apophany and the boys.
What are we all looking at? Nice. What are you laughing at? Whoa, what's over here? Oh my gosh.
same thing as they did last time. They're just charging straight in towards the enemy. They have no fear. Another day, another Flaghorn down. Another set of Amar heavy teams coming at us there from PolarBears, who are out of the tournament now. Great showing from them. They're still my favourite team, even though they're out. Ministry of Appropriate Footwork will be going forward in the losers bracket to face Galaxy Spiritus. Rylide, what do you think of the prevalence of Amar this tournament? Do you think it's just because of the Balgorns being 2 point less and being so popular as a flag sheet that tends to bring Amar teams with the armor tank, or do you think it's something else that makes Amar especially good?
I think it's to do with both, to be honest. You've got the Blood Raiders, which also use Amar ECM, so it kind of bodes well if you go like an all Amar team. They're less vulnerable to ECM. They're also, yeah, again, 2 points less Blood Raiders, especially. So you Balgon's a really cheap, really good flagship. Crows, 2 points. You can't go wrong with them. 2 points for a faction frigate, definitely worth it.
Suetonia, we're seeing again Navy battlecruiser hulls bought, and we saw a lot of T1 battlecruisers yesterday, and in each match we're just seeing them get blasted off the field just so quickly. Why do you think teams are bringing these Navy battlecruisers? What do you think is so alluring about them, even though that, you know, at least on the desk we think they're not especially fantastic as tournament ships?
I think they like battle cruisers and Navy battle cruisers just because they bring a lot of DPS for the amount of points that you're bringing, and they're generally quite solid. You have the option; they all have a utility high, or you can have the option to run a gang link on them as well. So they tend to do very good at just bringing utility and DPS. Although they don't tank really well, they don't have the staying power that command ships have.
Yeah, so as we said, that they will be going on to face Galaxy Spiritus next. That's the team that only had something like 5 days to prepare for the tournament and managed to beat out, I think it was Triumvirate earlier on.
The Shield Hull Hyperion boys.
Yeah, unfortunately they then did lose to the Brave Collective, so they're in the losers bracket. Ministry up against them next. What do you think of the potential between Galaxy and Ministry? Who would be your pick in that match? I
would definitely go with Kick on that one.
Fully with Kick, and yourself, Suetonia?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Ministry. I think Galaxy Spiritus are cool guys, but with 5 a long-term plan.
Man, I'm Galaxy all the way, guys. I've got to go. I've got to go with my bros. So before we go into the next match, we are going to give you guys these commercial announcements.
In Eve, the only thing worth more than ISK is trust. In Amsterdam, Eve is real.
Hey guys, welcome back to the next match, which is going to be between Brotherhood of Spacers and Losecnia Schlupen. Yesterday, we saw Brotherhood of Spacers bring a really cool all-Galente T2 team. They brought Astartes, Phobos, Deimos, Hecates, Thalias, and an Eris, even. Losecnia brought an undermanned comp that was a little weird. It was double Bargus, double Vulture, Cerberus, Caracal, no Logi for them. A, bringing Logi, and B, using all of their pilots' availability. What do you guys think about these two teams matching up against each other? Let's start with you, Suetonia.
I think Brotherhood of Spacers are an automatic inclusion just for bringing as many 4X holes as possible.
Yes! Absolutely.
But in serious talk, I think Losec, I don't really like undermanned comps at all. There's no supers and they're not in Iridia, so I think Brotherhood of Spacers will take it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going with Spacers on this one, just because they're just bringing Blaster all in your face, lots of damage, and it's going to hurt if even one of the low-sec ships get caught, which might happen.
Yeah, so these two teams are fighting to go on to face, it's going to be Circle of Two, who actually came second in the Alliance tournament back somewhere like AT7.
Old school.
One thing I find quite interesting about the Brotherhood of Spaces team is that they've used the T2 Logi frigates that we've seen a little bit of this tournament. We said that they are quite easy to control and keep out of the range, but what are your guys' overall feelings of the T2 Logi frigates, given, you know, now that we've had a day of data to look at them being used in several different locations? Let's start with you, Ryload.
I think they can be utilised. They've got T2 resistances, and they're also, especially the Galente and the Scalpel, they have a SIG reduction bonus. So especially in this missile spam meta, they can mitigate a lot of that damage as long as they don't get webbed or heavily target painted by bonus TPs. They can mitigate quite a lot of damage. Even laser ships or blaster ships might have trouble, but newts are a big problem for them. So, and we're seeing, well, a Balgorn meta almost. So you have to ban Balgorn, or they're going to bring a flagship, and you might be in trouble. So, but I'm still feeling that the solo Logi is the way to go, in my opinion. So, I think they're good, but I think T1 Logi or T2 Logi is better.
Suetonia, what about you?
Yeah, I think it works quite well in their comp because they have nothing to protect the Logi, since their strategy is basically just go face. Everything presses F1 and just kill as much as you can before you inevitably die. And so a solo like Executor or Augurer, which would be the replacement, doesn't really have anything screening for it. So just like two Sepals could just go in and annihilate it. While the two Falliers, they can protect each other. And they're a lot faster, so they don't have to worry about just getting like headshot by like random Bargists and stuff like that.
We do have some information coming in from the other arena at the moment. We had that really cool match between Freegates and Ronin, two very strong teams from the history of the tournament. It turns out that it was I don't actually know on that, but yeah, so Ronin will be going through there in the winners bracket. That's the catch-up match from yesterday, I believe. So now we are going to head over to the studio. We are going to watch Brotherhood of Spacers versus Losecnia Schlupin.